You're listening to Sea to Sky podcast, For Sisters by Sisters with Marina Thompson and Dana Moreland. Brought to you by Sea to Sky alumni chapter of Alpha Omicron Pi. Welcome, everyone. We're gathered here in our virtual studio with me, Marina Thompson, Dana Moreland, and a very special guest who was initiated to Beta Kappa at the University of British Columbia in 2021 and just returned from a month-long trip back home. Please welcome Shambhavi.
Welcome, Shambhavi. We're so glad you could join us today.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
You were an international student at the University of British Columbia, and we're really wondering, why did you choose Canada and UBC for your studies?
I graduated high school in 2020, and that was the year that the pandemic started. So everything back at home in India was delayed, including my high school final results. It was never my intention or my plan to go abroad and study, but I heard nothing from the universities back at home, and I already had my admission letter from UBC in March, even before my final exams had started. They also gave me a hefty scholarship, which kind of, I think, made it easier for me to decide where to go. And at first, I only enrolled because my parents were like, "Oh, like as we're waiting on the decisions from the universities back at home, let's just get you enrolled. And if we hear back from something, then we can always change schools. That would not be a problem." But by the time I heard back from universities at home, I'd already completed most of my first year. So I just decided to stick it out at UBC. It also was easier because my brother was in McGill at the time, and a couple of my cousins had also come to Canada to study. So they were kind of like pillars to like convince my parents, be like, oh, that it will be a good experience for her. So that's what the scholarship definitely was a major part of why Canada.
Oh, absolutely. Shambhavi, tell us a bit about the highlights of your time as an undergraduate at UBC.
I guess my first year was very different from what I had expected it to be, just because it was during the pandemic. I won't say it was a highlight, but I think it was very, very different. Joining AOPI was definitely the biggest highlight of university. It was a transformative experience. I think I discovered a lot about myself in Beta Kappa. Graduating with distinction was a highlight. And
Mm-hmm.
I think winning a Panhellenic Award for my chapter during my last year definitely was a highlight.
You want to
Tell
tell
us more
us
about
about it?
that. We want to know about this award.
In third year, I was elected as VPMI
Mm-hmm.
for Beta Kappa, and it was right after I ended my term as VPMI that I applied for probably every Panhellenic Award category that they had, and I got accreditation for the Panhellenic Scholar Award, the Leadership and Activities Award, the Individual Philanthropy Award. That was the one that I ended up winning. I volunteered with the Ministry of Social Justice back in India during my third year summer vacation. I basically helped secure resources for children coming from backward economic classes, help train them with online learning tools, and then led like an anti-addiction campaign for the youth, which was somewhere around 400 hours of service. My last accreditation, I think, was the All Greek Woman of the Year award. Those were the Panhellenic Awards.
That's amazing. That's really great. Okay, we're going to go off script here for a little bit. As you were speaking and thinking about your home in India, in addition to Canada and the US, AOPI, other NPC groups have not really strayed to another country. With the exception, there's one NPC group tried a chapter abroad for It lasted 2 years, and that happened to be in Germany. And I believe it was at a campus that was located on a U.S. military base. But here's my question for you. Do you think that Greek organizations could be successful at Indian universities?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think Indian universities are a bit different as compared to the universities in North America. The way that they're designed, obviously, like all the universities have like the smaller schools within every university, but the way the classes work, the way the student body is designed, the way the clubs are designed, I think they're much more focused in terms of club rather than organizing into groups, if that makes any sense. And then I guess the one thing that really would make or break sororities or fraternities back in India would definitely be the financial aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a huge part of being in Greek life is getting to live in a sorority house or a fraternity house. And I think that's something that would be especially tough back at home. So I don't know if that experience would be something that could be replicated. I mean, I would be all for like venturing out into the unknown. I don't know how successful that would be, but if we really follow the principles we follow here in terms of organizing into a sorority, then that would be a great experience for students back at home. I just think it would be tough for them to organize like that.
Yeah, that just struck me. And I was like, I wonder if it would culturally translate. Thanks for that insight.
No worries. I don't know if we can talk about ritual, but I think in terms of ritual, like coming from a country that is so diverse, it's really hard to have people believe in something that is situated in like one single belief.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that might also be like a deterrent in trying to make sure that everyone's following the same principles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes good sense.
Well, this is all really fun and very interesting. And I'm wondering, what are you up to now after you're done school?
I started working at Providence Healthcare, which is one of the healthcare authorities in BC, in their HR department. It's been 7 months since I started my job. On the side, I'm trying to volunteer at a psych lab at UBC to get more research experience to help me with my grad school application. That's what I've been up to. In addition to that, collegiate chapter liaison for Sea to Sky.
Nice.
We're very grateful for that last one.
Mm-hmm.
What research are you doing at UBC?
So my plan is to get into the depression, anxiety, and stress lab. Previously, I volunteered with the social identity lab, which was one of the social psychology labs, and their research was surrounding international students and culture and identity, which was what I helped them with. And then afterwards, if I end up getting into the depression, anxiety, and stress lab, I think my major goal would be to research about comorbidities with depression, and then in addition to that, how childhood experiences affect that and how movement would be a beneficial thing to maybe not just curing, but like a determinant factor of how far the manifestation of depression goes in an individual.
Fascinating. Well, movement is medicine. And that's something we actually talked about, Dana and I, in our previous episode. We even started a challenge to do something to take care of ourselves so we can take care of others. And we were supposed to report on that in this episode. And I would like to say that I have kept up with my promise to swim 3 times a week, except a couple of times I didn't, but I did go to the gym instead. So it still counts.
That yes, it definitely does. And I was very ambitious with my goal. And I said that I would walk at least 30 minutes every day, ideally outside, weather depending. There are a few days I missed, but not many. So I'm really proud of that because I know that movement really helps with my mental health for sure. So a few moments ago, you mentioned that you are Sea to Sky's collegiate liaison, or liaison to the collegiate chapter. You've taken on another ambitious role with the alumni chapter, and that is to serve as the alternate delegate at International Convention just next month. Why did you pursue this role?
I guess the opportunity presented itself to me, and I was grateful that I was considered to be able to assume such an important role within the chapter. I think going to convention, or even just thinking about going to convention, is like one of those exciting thoughts of being in AOPI. When I was in Beta Kappa in my collegiate chapter, my president, the year that I was VPMI, Hannah, went to convention, and just seeing the time she had, like, thought if I would be able to have that time, or if I would be able to have that experience. And weirdly, I am getting to have that experience 2 years down the line, not in my collegiate chapter, but as a member of Sea to Sky. Why I ended up pursuing the opportunity, I think I have been quite passionate about being involved just in general with AOPI, be it Sea to Sky or Beta Kappa. I want to be able to be one of those people who can put forth the voice of the chapter in front of a broader audience. So that was one thing. I think it is helping me gain more leadership skills, stepping up and taking on this challenge. I'm quite nervous about it because I heard that it's a huge, huge event and that there's so many people there. And being like not one of the most outgoing people, I think I am quite nervous about being in such a large group of people. And then I just want to be able to learn, gain more experience, and bring everything back to Sea to Sky.
Great. So let's dive a little bit deeper about what you hope to learn at convention as far as perhaps leadership or ideas, because Sea to Sky is still such a new chapter. What would you like to bring back, or what do you hope to learn?
I'm not sure if we have any other decentralized alumni chapters, but if we do, even if we don't, I think one thing that I would definitely want to learn from other alumni chapters would be how they organize themselves. I know we're like decentralized, so all our members are in different places, all around. And we do end up having all these online events, which is a great way for us to catch up with so many people. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like it would be nice to see everyone in person. And we do the Peace Arch picnic. So maybe just getting more ideas about that. I think I would like to learn more about what other chapters are doing in terms of leadership within their chapters. Because I know everybody has like their own way of conducting their role. So I don't know, it might be like a good opportunity to learn something new that we might not be doing, or tell other people about something new that we might be doing. So those two things definitely for our chapter. Other than that, I think I just want to be able to learn how to better articulate myself and rediscover my love for like AOPI once again. Not that I don't love it anymore, but I've been told that it's a great way to rekindle that relationship.
It definitely is. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek in that the Network Specialist Lifetime Engagement Team has put together 2 programs specifically for alumni representatives that I think are going to hit the needs that you've expressed and the things that you want to learn in a very meaningful way. I'm hoping that we can be like a fairy godmother and make your dreams come true. The flip side is, what are you most proud to share about Sea to Sky to other members who are at convention?
I think Sea to Sky, for personally for me, has been a very unique transitioning experience for me from being a collegian to an alum. I felt very supported by everyone in this chapter. Like the sisterhood aspect of it still remains very much, even though I'm not in a collegiate chapter anymore. My last year in chapter was when Sea to Sky was established. So even when I was in my collegiate chapter, it was great to have all these advisors from Sea to Sky and like just look at them have a good time with each other. So I think my experience with Sea to Sky has been quite unique. What I would like to share with the rest of the people at convention would definitely be one, that we're a decentralized chapter. We have people all around North America, and when I go to visit India, then all around the globe. And we're new and we're small, but we're mighty. Just the fact that we won so many awards within like the first year of being established speaks volumes of
Mm-hmm.
the kind of work that Sea to Sky's been doing. So that's something that I would like to brag about a little bit, let people know
Good.
about the new initiatives that we're undertaking, letting them know about our events. My first baseball game was after I joined Sea to Sky, and I am looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to going to another baseball game this year.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Shambhavi, I would like to ask you, what has AOPI Sisterhood given you that you don't think you would have gotten otherwise?
Oh, so many things. One thing that I talked about, even when I was in Beta Kappa, I had great advisors. I had people that I could rely on, people that believed in me before I believed in myself. They pushed me to attain things that I personally would not have thought that I would be able to do. And like applying to be an ELC was one of those things. I don't think I would have ever done that if I wasn't pushed to do that. It's obviously given me lifelong friendships. It has helped me discover new things about myself, step into leadership positions, and get more experience, which I've been able to use in the professional world. But yeah, I guess meeting Marina, Suzanne, Brittany, and Camilla was probably one of the best things I've gotten out of Beta Kappa because I think otherwise I feel like it would have been really hard for me to transition from being a university
Mm-hmm.
student to a working professional. I think they've been very helpful in helping me navigate the job market and then helping me look for jobs and housing me and then just like being there in general.
You've given us so much insight into your AOPI experience. What are some of your other activities? And I'd like to know what you do in addition to work in AOPI.
Oh, not a lot of things, but I paint quite a bit. I used to paint competitively back at home. I know they don't have painting competitions here anymore, but I still continue to paint. I ended up putting a stall at the craft fair at UBC my last 2 years at university. And I helped them paint a pillar in Buchanan, which is like the arts building at UBC. That's generally what I do in my spare time. I listen to music and I have dance parties by myself in my spare time because I also know movement is very important for my mental health. But considering
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver weather, I can't go out for a walk every day. And I'm just very scared of going to the gym. So I just have a little dance party by myself inside my room.
I'm a big fan of the solo dance party, so I can relate. It just makes you feel so much better.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm very curious about this painting competition. Tell us more about
Mm-hmm.
that.
I started going for painting competitions when I was 8, I think. And from grade 3 to grade 12, I think I went to every other painting competition that my school was invited for. So we used to have inter-class competitions, inter-school competitions, state and then national level competitions. And so for the inter-class competitions, it was like between like the 8 sections that we had in school. For inter-school, it would be like the schools within the district, and then states would be within like all the 29 states, and then national competition was a national competition. What they would generally do is give us a topic on spot and ask us to make them something. And if the judges liked it, you got a prize. Sometimes they gave us topics beforehand and we sent in paintings as entries for those competitions. My first national award was when I came third in a painting competition, and that was being organized by a newspaper company. It was a pan-India newspaper company, and they basically gathered us in like the biggest ground that they had in the capital in Delhi. And all of us, probably like 300, 400 people, sat down on the ground and just like were painting for 3 hours. That was my first national competition, and I was in grade 9. And then afterwards, we would have a heritage fair at different schools when schools from all across the country and schools even from like the Middle East, some of them would come and visit us and they would participate in all kinds of different competitions. And painting was one of them, and we had to paint a mural. That was another one of them. And yeah, those were painting competitions, just make something on the spot from your imagination.
That's so cool. Can
That
we
is so cool.
can we share some of your work with our audience in some way? Maybe Instagram or something?
Oh yeah, for sure. I do have an Instagram page for my paintings, but I don't think I've uploaded anything on it for the past 2 years. Even though I've made a couple of things, I don't think I've documented any of it. But yeah, I can share my Instagram for that, or if you want pictures of paintings as well.
Yeah, let's do both. Very cool. Wow. So I know in this year you've served as liaison to Beta Kappa, our collegiate chapter at UBC. What would you say? Because I know many universities are approaching graduation time. What would you say to these women who are about to graduate to encourage them to stay involved with AOPI?
Personally, for me, AOPI serves a purpose. Being involved with Sea to Sky or even Beta Kappa or AOPI as a whole, I think gives me a sense that I'm part of something bigger than myself. So it gives me that purpose of wanting to do better, trying to be better, a better version of myself. To encourage members to stay engaged as alumna, I think showing up would be the best way to stay engaged. A lot of our events are so different and so fun. I was sad that I missed the Indigenous Fashion Week, but I think it's such a different event
Mm-hmm.
to go to. We had a little winter carnival event like right before Christmas, which was again like great because otherwise, especially for me, like I lived alone for most of my university time. And then, I mean, now I live with Brittany, but apart from that, I don't really have a lot of human interaction just because now I work from home. So I think it's a good way to meet everybody and have a good time. Being engaged as an alumna, I guess it would really depend on what people are looking to do after they graduate from school to maintain those friendships, be part of that sisterhood, but also at the same time serving your community, being part of AOPI, and helping out the collegiate chapter that you were part of. Those would be a couple of reasons to be part of a alumni chapter and like be engaged as an alumni.
That's fantastic. Thank you for this full answer. I really enjoyed our conversation. I feel like I learned so much more about you and about your extracurriculars and your passions for the future. And I'm very honored to be part of it in some, however small way.
And I'm so looking forward to spending time with you, hopefully one on one when we are in Palm Desert.
That would be great. That would be so great.
You two owe me a picture together once you're there.
Just one? That's easy. Give us a challenge, like one a day.
It's a challenge then.
Done and done.
I look forward to seeing them. Thank you both for joining us today. It was so great to chat with you.
It's been another great episode of our podcast. I'm so glad we had this time to spend with Shambhavi. And I want to give everybody a preview of something that we have planned for the future. We're trying to bring about is to bring together all the members of Sea to Sky who attend international convention and do sort of a panel podcast in the future with all of us, because there are many members of the alumni chapter who are attending conventions. So we can share with you the highlights and our greatest experiences. So look forward to that. But between now and then, we do have some additional chats in the pipeline. So we'll be chatting soon.
To Sea to Sky podcast, For Sisters by Sisters, with Marina Thompson and Dana Moreland. Brought to you by Sea to Sky Alumna Chapter of Alpha Omicron Pi. Till next time.